Good afternoon. My name is Phil Reading with the Louisville Metro Housing Authority. I'm the MWDBE Section 3 Coordinator. Great to see the crowd that we have here. We want you guys to network, mingle, talk to each other. That's what this is all about. First, some housekeeping. Restrooms. Go out that back door. Go to your left. They're down at the end of the hallway on your right. That gets filled up. You can go back out to the lobby, up the stairs on your left. So that takes care of that part. Again, thanks for coming. I'm the MWDBE coordinator, so all those questions that you guys have about minority business participation, women-owned business participation, disabled person-owned business participation, those come to me. In addition to Section 3, those of you who don't realize the Section 3 regulation just changed. They implemented a new regulation back in November of 2020. The Housing Authority is incorporating that in our contracts. So we're going to see that come to all of you all as we go through it. And again, you can bring those questions to me and we'll discuss them. And we won't take up much of your time. The purpose of this luncheon, again, was to specifically promote 3 projects. You've seen some of the boards posted around that of those projects. And we have the architects here that are going to discuss them. We also are going to discuss some of the future projects. And if you look on your table, there's a small handout. That handout shows some of the future projects that we hope to get accomplished in the next calendar year or so. So be looking for that. We know that that's what it needs for you guys to get prepared. You got to know what's coming to you. Let's see. We're going to briefly discuss those three projects, talk about those future projects, try to get you guys prepared so that your business are ready to have those assets in line. We know that there's always bonding issues and capital issues. To get those assets lined up, we know that you need a little heads up, and that's what this is all about. Getting your resources prepared for each project, that's the priority here, so make sure that when we get done with this little presentation, again, it's going to be very short. She's going to give me the heads up when I go too long. Make sure you talk to folks. Make sure you talk to the Housing Authority representatives, to the architects, to the other resources that we have in this room. We're going to talk about those too. The Housing Authority has always wanted to promote opportunities for local contractors. That's what we do. We know that you're part of what we need to get our jobs accomplished. So we want you to be successful. We're always interested in making that happen. And that starts from the top down. From our top of our organization all the way down through the Housing Authority, we want you to be successful. To prove that, I have 2 board members here. Our chairman of the board, Mr. Manford Reed, a pillar in our community. Mr. Reed's been the chairman for over 22 years now, I think, is what he told me. That's fantastic. And we also have Dr. Reverend Jeffrey Ellis. He's another Board of Commissioner member. And so I'm going to let them have an opportunity to talk to you. Mr. Reed?
Good morning. I want to thank y'all for coming. The primary reason why I'm here is to recruit you. Each one of the contractors that are functioning in our community and providing employment for our residents, we want to expand the opportunity for you to make money in building throughout our neighborhoods. And I want to make it clear, when we look at housing in the West End, we're going downhill fast. And we need home replacement as an economic initiative in terms of providing opportunity, employment, and have an effective means by which we attack poverty. We can eliminate poverty and unemployment that has affected our idle workforce. There are things that we need training. The industry itself is transforming in terms of materials, methods of construction, and we have to be able to prepare our workforce to be able to make the installations on the job as required. We also need capital investments from government. Without government's involvement, it won't work. We have to look for these capital dollars that will come into the west end of Louisville for the purpose of home construction, employment, and to promote the community and its economic initiative. We have to reestablish commercial activity in the West End, industrial activity in the West End, housing in the West End. And this is not something that's going to take place in a year or two. It's generational. That's why we're asking for the contractors to come together to help prepare the workforce to be able to participate in this initiative. We do have, as a matter of law, and Mr. Riddick just mentioned the Section 3 program, by which we can get funds for the purposes and to generate the activities that we want. But without the contractors, it won't work. We have to have your support, your cooperation, and your leadership at the ground level. We've got idle workers all over the community. They want a job, they need a job. We need to provide that opportunity for them. I want to thank the people who have come here. First, I want to thank LCC for granting us this venue, and Mr. Phil Rigginer, which is support of our procurement staff. And we have Mr. Kevin Matthew with Sherman Barnhart. Thank you for coming. And Mr. Keith McCarthy, Assistant Director of Capital Improvements. And we have our procurement officer, Ms. Norma Ward. Thank you so much for coming. And the Housing Authority will be there to initiate this because of need, the need within the community. And we have philosophy within the Housing Authority, which comes from HUD. It's called Move to Work. And it's about the Housing Authority moving to do what we're doing today. Organize our people to put to work and to rebuild our neighborhoods. So I want to thank y'all for coming and being here. We look forward to working with you. Our staff is prepared to receive you, and we will provide education and training where it's needed. Mr. Rick, thank you so much. All right.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Reed. Chairman Reed, like I said, has been with the Housing Authority for 22 years. He's been the chairman of our board, a wonderful person. We always enjoy seeing him at the board meetings and the help that he gives us. Okay, like I said, we're going to be talking about 3 of the main projects. To promote those 3 projects, we brought the architects here. We have, first up is going to be Kevin Matthews. Kevin Matthews is a senior partner with Sherman Carter Barnhart. Mr. Matthews is going to be talking about the Whips Mill siding job. I think there's a couple posters around with the Whips Mill job. And we'll also have, just temporarily, unfortunately, we have the project manager, Miss Michelle, and Miss Michelle Chandler and Jay Hendricks in the back. They're going to be the project managers on these 3 jobs we're going to talk about. They can't stay, but I'm glad they were able to come to us and hopefully get a lunch, maybe, perhaps. So Mr. Matthews is going to be discussing the Whips Mill siding project and the Dosker Manor fire alarm replacement and some future projects that Sherman Carter's been working on. Mr. Matthews?
Well, thank you all, and I would just kind of reiterate, please take what Mr. Reed and Mr. Riddiger said to heart. I mean, we all have that belief sincerely, and it's a very important, vitally important that we all come together and get these projects going. So I want to go over a few projects that Sherman Carter Barnhart has, upcoming projects and bid dates. projects that are advertising in May. And if you've been looking, we've got a couple out today. Whips Mill siding replacement project. Is that better? Okay. And the Dosker fire alarm upgrades, those advertised today. Pre-bid meetings are set for May 24th, last addendum on May 31. Bid opening will be June 7. There'll be a board meeting on June 21st, and then we'd anticipate 3 to 4 weeks after that, we'd be able to enter into a contract. Whips Mill siding replacement project, there are 5 buildings, 2 of them are single story, 3 of them are 2-story, going to remove and replace the existing siding, provide new plastic siding. There'll be some sheathing replacement, some building wrap, gutters, downspouts, exterior dryer vents, a variety of exterior panels that'll need to be replaced, replacing privacy walls or fencing between units on the exterior. There'll be some minimal amount of site work that'll be done to correct some ponding or drainage issues, some disturbed areas. Important to keep to note that this project will be occupied. The tenants will be in place. Dosker Manor fire alarm upgrades. Just say this first, that the building will be occupied during the renovation work, and phasing of that work will be necessary to minimize any disruptions to the residents. There are 3 buildings at Dosker, multi-story buildings, the Dosker A, B, and C. We're going to remove and replace the existing fire alarm systems. There'll be improvements to the existing nurse call system, as well as new carbon monoxide detectors. The existing fire alarm system will be required to remain in place until a replacement system is installed, tested, and fully operational. There are some hazardous materials that will have to be dealt with as part of the work, as well as some fireproofing and fire safing that will be required. Projects that we'll be looking at in June is another siding project. It is the Fagenbush-Norbrook siding replacement. Actually, 2 projects under one bid package, 2 buildings. Pre-bid meeting on the 14th, last addendum on the 21st, bid opening on the 28th, and then we anticipate 3 to 4 weeks after the board meeting to award that project. Fagenbush and Norbrook, they're two separate projects. They're approximately 300 feet from each other across the road. Fagenbush will be a similar situation, 2 two-story buildings where we're replacing the siding, gutters, downspout, sheathing, ponding. Norbrook, which is 1 building across the street, single 2-story building, we'll replace some siding and then some miscellaneous exterior work as well. Some of the upcoming projects that we'll talk about is Avenue Plaza generator replacement project, which is literally a generator replacement project. Avenue Plaza and St. Catherine fire alarm upgrade will be very similar to what we just talked about with Dosker. Baxter Community Building, Holly Park renovation, Firehouse at Broadway, which are 2 fire damaged units in 1 building, and the completion of the re-roofing work at Parkway. I won't go into the Avenue Plaza. It's the same basic information that I said for Dosker with replacing the existing fire alarm system, and those buildings will be occupied as well. Baxter Building, if you're familiar with this one on the Beecher Site project, not far from here. This is the existing building structure. We're effectively going to gut that out. It'll be all new electric, plumbing, mechanical, security systems, substantial renovation and upgrade, new windows, doors, finishes, plus an addition that you'll see kind of to the left. So kind of a cutaway section of this. We're going to create the new addition to provide some circulation space, a new identity and entrance for the facility. Holly Park renovation, there are 45 units out there. 1 unit, which is an existing office, is being turned into a unit. There's 8 buildings with those 45 units. They have some fairly substantial water issues out there, so there'll be quite a bit of site grading work to be done. Considerable work in crawl spaces where we're trying to mitigate the moisture system, so there'll be a substantial waterproof system, active ventilation established in the crawl spaces. Interior units will not necessarily be a gut rehab, but fairly moderate renovation with new finishes. There'll be quite a bit of demolition work working on the first floor crawl spaces and the first floor. The building is wood frame structure, so the first floor structures are needing some repair and replacement. New windows, some vinyl siding, gutters, and entry doors on the exterior. This site is occupied as well, and we will be looking at a phased construction for this project. And that completes mine. Thank you all.
Excuse me, what pre-bid for Holly Park?
I'm sorry?
Pre-bid for Holly Park?
We haven't established that one, so that last group was upcoming projects, so we don't have those in the queue yet. It depends on how we all do with these first bunch, but they are coming up.
Great, thank you, Mr. Matthews, I appreciate it. So you know there's 2 projects right there that are on the books. If you haven't gotten onto the housing agency marketplace, that should not be a new website to anybody in this room. If it is, I need you to go see Edward as soon as we get done here. We'll have some time after the presentation to get you signed up on the housing agency marketplace so that you see these bids as soon as they get advertised. You'll get an email right away. You can start looking at the bid, make a determination. Can I bid this job as a GC, perhaps a subcontractor? And what's also important about that, I'm getting a little off topic here, so you probably give me the heads up. What's important about that on the housing agency marketplace, you're going to see what other contractors are looking at that project. Think how powerful that is. You see who else is going to be bidding that job. You'll see the GCs if you're thinking you're going to be a sub on the job. You're contacting only the GCs. They're going to bid the job, submitting your subcontractor bid with those contractors, not wasting time trying to find somebody or hook up with somebody that's going to give you an opportunity. These are the guys that are going to be doing it. So that's the people that are right on that website. If you're not signed up, you didn't get that email this morning, you didn't get that email yesterday, you need to sign up with Edward and get that taken care of. It's a free service. Doesn't take but just a few minutes. I think there's 5 steps in the process to get that taken care of. Go over there and see them. We got some computers hooked up. If you can't, don't have the time, I know you guys are, again, we're wasting some of your time now. If there's some handouts over there that just walks you through that process to get your business signed up on that. But that's where all of our sealed bids come out through Housing Agency Marketplace. Okay, got off on my topic or a tangent there. Next we have Mr. Dade Luckett. Mr. Luckett is a principal of the Luckett & Associates Architects and Engineers. Mr. Luckett is going to be discussing the scattered site bathroom job, and that's Mr. Hendricks back there. Like I said, he put up a hand. They're going to have to leave here in a second, so we won't get to talk to the project managers, but he's going to talk about the bathroom renovations on scattered sites. Mr. Luckett.
This is a strange job. It's the renovation of bathrooms in 84 apartments, and the apartments are going to be occupied. There are a total of 109 bathrooms because there are 25 two fixture bathrooms in there. You basically, the housing authority has purchased a 2-bathroom trailer, so you basically, the schedule is set up for 2 apartments per week. So you ought to be able to finish a two 3-fixture bathrooms and a 2-fixture bathroom in a 5-day period and be out of there by the weekend. And the tenants will, you have to leave the kitchen operational, but the tenants will be not underfoot, but in the apartments at the same time you all will be. All of the fixtures come out, the interior finishes come out, the lavatories and everything, all new goes back in, new finishes, new plumbing fixtures, new cabinet work. So you're going to need plumbers, electricians, people to do the painting, put up new light fixtures, the carpentry work because you're putting in recessed vanities, and that's pretty much it. If we hit the street today, and the pre-bid is Tuesday.
Thank you, Mr. Luckett. He's right. The pre-bids on these jobs that we just talked about, the pre-bid conference is going to be at 3223 South 7th Street Road. If you haven't been out there, that's our purchasing department. And the same people that you see up here are going to be doing the pre-bid discussion. It's at 10 o'clock Tuesday, 3223 South 7th Street Road. And that's in the bid document. So make sure you check those closely. We just had an opportunity for a person that bid a job and took his bid to some place that it didn't need to go, and it's an automatic rejection. So make sure you take a look at those documents closely. We understand those documents can be complicated. Mr. Luckett just spoke of this bathroom job. The bid specifications are 246 pages long, I think, not counting the blueprints. Gets pretty intimidating. We understand that, but we also know that we're here to help you get through those documents. To talk about that, we have Mr. McCarthy. Keith McCarthy is the Assistant Director of Capital Improvements. He's going to talk about that. All the resources that we have here are to help you get those bid documents in order. Mr. McCarthy.
Hello, everyone. As Phil said, I'm the Assistant Director of Capital Improvements. I want to thank everybody for coming out to take part in the Lunch and Learn session. Hopefully this will answer some questions regarding the bid process and create some interest in our upcoming projects. You've heard about the many projects that we have going out today that are going advertised today. I'm going to give you a little bit of information about creating a successful bid. We always advertise on Wednesdays through the Courier-Journal and Thursday through the Louisville Defender. And also on Wednesdays on Housing Agency Marketplace. Phil touched on that a little bit earlier. All the information that it's going to take to get your bid information and to get the specifications for any job that we put out will be listed there at no cost to you. You can, as long as you sign up, like Phil said, you'll get that information. You'll get an email that'll come to your directly to your computer, and you'll be able to check that everything that comes out through the Capital Improvements Department, as well as any other portion of the Housing Authority of Louisville that would be putting out a bid. We have two types of bids that come out. For some of the terminology, we have IFBs, which are invitations for bid, and on the invitations for bid, those are on construction documents, the construction projects only. The RFPs are requests for proposal. That's like yearly maintenance contracts, like lawn service, roofing, tree trimming, also professional services. It'll be something like that for architects, attorneys, consultants, that type of thing. The official bid documents, I passed out a flyer earlier on your table. Inside of every construction packet that comes out, there will be official bid documents. That's what it'll look like. The first page of that document is what you have on your table. That document is the roadmap to create a successful, responsive bid. If you follow this, check off each one of those items, you will have a responsive bid. Only the first day submittals are required on the day of the bid opening. The second day submittals will only be required by the lowest bid, or the bid that is deemed responsible. Other than that, we'll all be here at the end of the session. If anybody has any questions regarding the projects that are coming up for the architects, any of the LMHA staff, we'll all be here to go over that checklist with you if you have some questions about it. And I look forward to seeing each and every one of you that's interested on the pre-bid on the 24th at 10 a.m. at 3223 South 7th Street Road.
I know, like on your first day submittals, section B, it talks about the 5% bond amount. Do you all still have, I guess, in lieu of the bond, you deduct a certain percentage of the project?
Well,
Is that still the stuff? If you do like 20% of the project or something.
When you go to, say for example, one of the bids that's open right now, and you download the specifications, section B is probably the section that talks about other options for, actually section C, we'll talk about other options for bid bonds. It has to be 5%. And there's, I think, 3 or 4 options for that.
Thank you.
Great, thank you, Mr. McCarthy. And that other speaker was the director of the Capital Improvements Department, Ms. Norma Ward. We failed to introduce her because we didn't know if she was able to make it today, so we're glad to see that she didn't make it. And like I said, everybody that's in here that's a housing authority or related to the project, we're going to be available to answer any questions that you have. So please feel free to tackle us, and we'll get those questions answered for you. Again, LMHA wants to see you bid these projects. We want to see you be successful. That's what we're about. We know that the local community of contractors is what gets the work done for us. We can't do it all in-house. It's you guys that are going to be doing that. So we want to see you get the opportunities to come up these projects, and we know that there's barriers to that. We try to work on those barriers as best we can, and just like Ms. Hughes just pointed out, that bid bond, it's there. We know it has to happen. We're always working on ways to try to get around that if we can. It's a federal guideline. We can't not have the bid bond, but we're working on some other issues might be able to solve that problem. But also realize too that the housing authority is not Louisville Metro government. That's a concern that I've heard more than once. When Louisville Metro government fails to pay you guys in 90 days, and you're worried about how to make payroll and how to make vendor payments, that's not us. We're a lot smaller organization. We're not federal employees. We're not state employees. We're not city employees. We're a separate agency. We're more nimble. We can handle that kind of situation to help you guys get paid on time so that you can make those payrolls. So always, that's another thing to consider. We're not them. We're a separate agency. We can help you with that. Like I said, we want you to be successful. Get your bid specs prepared. You have to do the work. There's no question about that. If you bid our jobs, we're going to expect that project to be on time, on budget. That's just as anywhere you would go. It's going to follow those bid specs, and it's going to follow those plans. So we don't have any less of an expectation of that, but we want to see you on the jobs. We want to see you start preparing your resources for these 3 projects that were just discussed and the other projects that Mr. Matthews put up. Those are coming up. That little cheat sheet on your table there, those projects are coming up. Get yourself prepared for those projects. Get your resources in line. Now, there's a lot of resources in this room right this second. I don't know if you guys realize that. Some of them have been going around shaking hands and kissing babies, but those resources are what can help you bid these jobs right and make successful a contract that works out to your advantage and you don't lose money on it. Let me just point out some of these resources because I want to give a shout out to them. We got Mr. Eddie Dunn. He's the director and president of the Minority Contractors Association of Kentuckiana. A great resource for networking and getting the contractors together. Mr. Eddie Dunn, he's back there. We also have Miss Yvonne Smith, and I think, did she leave? Did somebody see him? There she is, she's over there. Miss Yvonne Smith is the president, CEO of One West. One West is that help that you're going to need when you start looking at finances, when you're starting to look at bonding agents, insurance agents, bankers. She's going to get you in touch with those kind of people that are going to help you be successful. Miss Yvonne Smith. We also have Donovan Taylor. Mr. Taylor sitting up front here. Mr. Taylor is the manager of the plan room. We talked about the assets that you need to get your business going and to bid these jobs, but you also have to know how to work within the bid specification and the plans and the blueprints. That's what the plan room is going to do for you. That's what Mr. Taylor is going to do for you. He's going to provide that technical assistance and that help to get those plans together, understand what you're looking at, and hopefully write a successful estimate and a bid that you're going to win the project. So that's Mr. Donovan Taylor. We also have Ms. Lynn Rippey, the president and CEO of Youth Build. Where is Ms. Rippey? There she is, all the way in the back. Ms. Rippey all the way in the back. And the reason I bring this up because Youth Build does a great service for the community. They take young folks that have had a really tough time in life, and they work on those folks to give them the life skills and trade skills to get them on to the next step in their lives. So that's a great thing. But what helps you is she has the people that can be your next employee. She has the people that can help build your company. And in that same breath, I'm going to say, youth build and Section 3 regulation. And if you don't know why I said those together, you need to talk to me right after this, okay? Thank yous. Like I said, we're a little bit over. We're wrapping it up. I want to say a couple thank yous that we have here. Miss Deborah and Miss Marissa and Mr. Fields with LC3 for the venue. Miss Penny and Miss Bree with Garden Girls Foods for the great luncheons that we had back there. And there's still some back there, I see. So make sure you take one with you. Thank you to our speakers. Chairman Reed, appreciate it, and I appreciate you coming too. We also had Mr. Matthews with Sherman Carter Barnhart, Mr. Luckett with Luckett and Associates, Mr. McCarthy, he's part of our group, the assistant director. Let's see, my partners in crime, I wanted to give her a shout out back there. The person that you met when you first came in the door, that's Miss Jaleesa Chapman. She's our public relations person, so you might be seeing her in some of these other events. And we got Edward over there. He's all by himself. He ain't doing nothing. He's playing with his phone or something. He's our AV and IT guy. So if you didn't get signed up to the Housing Agency Marketplace, get signed up right now. He'll help you walk you through it. Thank you guys for coming. I hope you enjoyed the lunch. And just, Mr. Tawana Hughes has a question for me. I guess we can answer it.
And I throw it out because we thought of, but I know one of the requirements that you all have in bidding on your projects is you must have employees.
Yes.
A certain percentage, say, smaller contractors that don't have employees, how do you go about? I mean,
Okay.
Look at it as a GC, and then also.
Okay, but yeah, let me. That's a real quick answer to the question because we can talk about these personally too. But one of the things that Ms. Tawana Hughes was talking about, Tawana Hughes Builders, is that if you're an individual and you're bidding our job, if you step onto our project and you're going to claim MBE, WBE, or DBE, we want to see that work go to that contractor to build their business. And so what that intention is, we say 12% has to be done with your own forces. And that's to make sure that somebody's not brokering work, that kind of stuff. But we understand that that might not be the situation for all of us. So we'll be glad to talk to you about that. But that's why we put that 12% in there, is we want you to build your business, hire folks in the community, hire Miss Lynn Rippey's young kids there, give those people an opportunity. But anyways, I think Reverend Ellis, one of our Board of Commissioners, wants to just do a brief. We're running over our time here. Reverend Ellis, go ahead. You lost me.
One of the things that I'm concerned about is that the minority contractors don't seem to be getting enough of the housing authority's business. I'm putting it on Front Street where you can understand it. The board, and you saw Mr. Reed and myself, all the way at the top, we're concerned about that. And the board and the members were here, they would tell you that I'm always picking on that. Let me see them, huh? Oh. Let me see those MBEs, DBE, WBE. Let me see what the figures are. We expect our contractors, we expect those people that are GCs to be in compliance with that. And we check on that. And if it comes to the board and we put it down, put it back if it's not where it's supposed to be. Phil is the guy you really want to know. You really want to call him. You really want to talk with him. Those problems with bonding, insurance, those kind of problems that minority contractors have, we're trying to solve that with the help of Yvonne Smith and One West. So we know what the problems are. Some of you may need to combine your services together to form a little company, if you want to say that, to get some of these contracts. We know Lynn Rippey and what she's doing, providing the young people that are stepping up. The minorities have to get, African Americans have to get some of the money. Hello? And we have to get the bids, but we have to have the tools and the information that we need to get it. That's what this started about. Me and Phil talking about minority contractors, and we said, well, wait a minute, something's wrong. All the problems we have, we want to hear from you what your barriers are, so that we as housing authority can spread some of that money around. Now, that's the way I am. I talk straight from the shoulder. That's what we're here about. a lot majority contractors and people in the room, we're not excluding you, but we are traditionally left out. And we don't want that to happen with the housing authority. That's all I wanted to say. Thank you.
Thank you, Reverend Ellis. Like I said, all of us will be here for another 30 minutes or so. Mingle about, get yourself lunch if you didn't get an opportunity to have lunch. And thank you very much for coming.